Hello and welcome to day 51 of our Chronological Bible 1 Year reading. Today we have Leviticus 22 and 23. Leviticus 22. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons that they separate themselves from the Kadesh or holy offerings of the children of Israel, and that they do not profane my Kadesh name and what they kadosh or sanctify to me. I am Yahuwah. Say to them, any man of all your offspring throughout your generations who draws near the Kadesh offerings which the children of Yisrael kadosh to you, while he has uncleanness upon him, that being shall be cut off from before me. I am Yahuwah. Any man of the offspring of Aaron who is a leper or has a discharge does not eat the Kadesh offerings until he is clean. And whoever touches what is rendered unclean by a corpse, or a man who has had an emission of semen, or a man who touches any creeping creature by which he would be made unclean, or any being by whom he would become unclean, even any of his uncleanness, the being who has touched it shall be unclean until evening, and does not eat the Kadesh offerings, but shall bathe his body in water. And when the sun goes down, he shall be clean, and afterward eat the Kadesh offerings, because it is his food. He does not eat that which dies or is mauled, becoming unclean by it. I am Yahuwah. And they shall guard my charge, lest they bear sin for it and die thereby, when they profane it. I, Yahuwah, kadosh them, or sanctify them. And no stranger eats the Kadesh offering. A sojourner with the Kohen, or priest, or a hired servant does not eat the Kadesh offering. But when the Kohen buys a being with his silver, he eats of it. And one who is born in his house eats his food. And when a Kohen's daughter is married to a stranger, she does not eat of the Kadesh offerings. But when a Kohen's daughter is a widow or put away, and has no child, and has returned to her father's house as in her youth, she eats her father's food, but lets no stranger eat of it. And when a man eats the Kadesh offering by mistake, then he shall give a Kadesh offering to the Kohen, and add 1/5 to it. And do not profane the Kadesh offerings of the children of Israel, which they lift up to Yahuwah, or allow them to bear the wickedness of trespass when they eat their Kadesh offerings. For I am Yahuwah who kadosh them. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, Any man of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, who brings his offering for any of his vows, or for any of his voluntary offerings, which they bring to Yahuwah as a burnt offering, for your acceptance, is a male, a perfect one from the cattle, from the sheep, or from the goats. Whatever has a defect you do not bring, for it is not acceptable for you. And when a man brings a peace offering to Yahuwah to complete a vow, or a voluntary offering from the cattle or the sheep, it is to be perfect, to be accepted. Let there be no defect in it. Those blind or broken, or having a cut, or have an ulcer, or eczema, or scabs, you do not bring to Yahuwah, nor make an offering by fire of them on the altar to Yahuwah. As for a bull or a lamb that has any limb deformed or dwarfed, you do prepare as a voluntary offering, but for a vow it is not accepted. Do not bring to Yahuwah what is bruised or crushed, or torn or cut, nor do it in your land. And from a son of a stranger's hand you do not bring any of these as the bread of your Elohim, for their corruption is in them, and defects are in them. They are not acceptable for you. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, When a bull or a sheep or a goat is born, it shall be 7 days with its mother. And from the 8th day, and thereafter, it is acceptable as an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. Do not slaughter a cow or a sheep and its young on the same day. And when you bring a slaughtering of thanksgiving to Yahuwah, bring it for your acceptance. It is eaten that same day. Leave none of it until morning. I am Yahuwah. And you shall guard my commands and do them. I am Yahuwah. And do not profane my Kadesh name. And I shall be Kadesh among the children of Yisrael. I am Yahuwah who kadosh you, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, or Egypt, to be your Elohim. I am Yahuwah. Chapter 23. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, The appointed times of Yahuwah, which you are to proclaim as Kadesh gatherings, my appointed times are these. 6 days work is done, but the 7th day is a Shabbat of rest, a Kadesh gathering. You do no work. It is a Shabbat to Yahuwah in all your dwellings. These are the appointed times of Yahuwah, Kadesh gatherings, which you are to proclaim at their appointed times. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, between the evenings, is the Pesach, or Passover, right? Verse 5, Passover.
Yeah.
That's right, that is the Pesach, or Passover to Yahuwah. And on the 15th day of this month is the festival of Matzoth to Yahuwah. 7 days you eat unleavened bread. On the first day you have a Kadesh gathering, you do no servile work. And you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah for 7 days. On the 7th day is a Kadesh gathering, you do no servile work. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, When you come into the land which I give you, and shall reap its harvest, then you shall bring a sheaf of the firstfruits of your harvest to the Kohen. And he shall wave the sheaf before Yahuwah for your acceptance. On the morrow, after the Shabbat, the Kohen waves it. And on that day when you wave the sheaf, you shall prepare a male lamb a year old, a perfect one, as a burnt offering to Yahuwah, and its grain offering, 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, an offering made by fire to Yahuwah, a sweet fragrance, and his drink offering, 1/4 of a hin of wine. And you do not eat bread or roasted grain or fresh grain until the same day that you have brought an offering to your Elohim, a law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And from the morrow after the Shabbat, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, you shall count for yourselves 7 completed Shabbathoth. Until the morrow after the 7th Shabbat, you count 50 days. Then you shall bring a new grain offering to Yahuwah. Bring from your dwellings for a wave offering 2 of bread of 2/10 parts of fine flour. They are baked with leaven, firstfruits to Yahuwah. And besides the bread, you shall bring 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and 1 young bull and 2 rams. They are a burnt offering to Yahuwah, with their grain offering and their drink offerings, an offering made by fire for a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. And you shall offer 1 male goat as a sin offering, and 2 male lambs a year old as a peace offering. And the Kohen shall wave them, besides the bread of the firstfruits, as a wave offering before Yahuwah, besides the 2 lambs. They are Kadesh to Yahuwah for the Kohen. And on this same day you shall proclaim a Kadesh gathering for yourselves. You do no servile work on it, a law forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when you reap the harvest of your land, do not completely reap the corners of your field when you reap, and do not gather any gleaning from your harvest. Leave them for the poor and for the stranger. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you have a rest, a remembrance of blowing of trumpets, a Kadesh gathering. You do no servile work, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, On the 10th day of this 7th month is Yom HaKippurim, or Yom Kippur. It shall be a Kadesh gathering for you, and you shall afflict your beings, and shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. And you do no work on that same day, for it is a Yom Kippurim, and to make atonement for you before Yahuwah your Elohim. For any being who is not afflicted on that same day, he shall be cut off from his people. And any being who does any work on that same day, that being I shall destroy from the midst of his people. You do no work, a law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It is a Shabbat of rest to you, and you shall afflict your beings. On the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening to evening, you observe your Shabbat. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, On the 15th day of this 7th month is the festival of Sukkoth, for 7 days to Yahuwah. On the first day is a Kadesh gathering, you do no servile work. For 7 days you bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. On the 8th day there shall be a Kadesh gathering for you, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. It is a closing festival, you do no servile work. These are the appointed times of Yahuwah, which you proclaim as Kadesh gatherings, to bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah, a burnt offering and a grain offering, a slaughtering and drink offerings, as commanded for every day. Besides the Shabbathoth of Yahuwah, and besides your gifts and besides all your vows, and besides all your voluntary offerings which you give to Yahuwah. On the 15th day of the 7th month, when you gather in the fruit of the land, celebrate the festival of Yahuwah for 7 days. On the first day is a rest, and on the 8th day a rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day the fruit of good trees, branches of palm trees, twigs of leafy trees, and willows of the stream, and shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim for 7 days. And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahuwah for 7 days in the year, a law forever in your generations. Celebrate it in the 7th month. Dwell in booths for 7 days. All who are native Israelites dwell in booths, so that your generations know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim. Of Mitzrayim or Egypt. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. Thus did Moshe speak of the appointed times of Yahuwah to the children of Israel. And that concludes our reading today. Again, and always, thank you for joining me. Hope you're reading along with me. Peace and blessings and love to you. See you next time.